and welcome to the 14th episode of the Friends of Mine podcast. Pretty sure I've got that right.
Yeah, we checked it as well.
We're back.
We're
finally back. It's been a hell of a
international break.
Yes.
So,
that's what we'll call it.
Some time away. And we've
got a special guest on this episode, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Frankie has joined us for, well, at least the first part anyway.
We thought we'd get someone on here to actually make sense.
Yeah.
So we got a
guest who's now smiling at you. So yeah, for the first 20 minutes, if you hear any squealing, it could be Wayne, but it's more than likely Frankie.
So I feel like there's a lot to catch up on. How's things going?
Yeah,
you started a new job.
Yes, yeah. I just finished my second week. It's going really well. Obviously, we spoke sort of Wednesday. I'm finding it quite difficult, sort of not knowing what's going, not knowing what I'm doing day to day, sort of thing. I think being in the last job for as long as I was, it was sort of second nature, and being the new boy, it's a bit different. It's a bit like that thing that you shared a little while ago. Being a new guy at work is like turning up at season 5 of a TV series, and it does feel a little bit like that. But yeah, on the whole, it's going really well.
Good.
Really well.
Good. And do you feel you're kind of settling in?
Yeah, they've been really good. They have been really good. I mean, part of when I went for the interview, I just sort of said, I've got no experience in this industry, so I'm going in completely sort of blind. And they've been really good, really patient. No question's a stupid question, which is quite good as well. Because I've sort of, again, sit in the office and it can be very quiet sometimes, and that's sort of my worst nightmare, like real quiet office, and then you have to ask, how do I do this? But they've all been really good. Like no one's, if they are frustrated, no one's shown it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
which is nice.
It actually, you can kind of, it almost looks like there's a bit of a weight off your shoulder. Like obviously you got the anxiety about, like you say, starting a new role and learning everything, but it just seems like there's a little, you seem a bit lighter, and you
I feel a lot better as well. How long that lasts for, I don't know, but at the moment it's going really well, and I just feel like, without saying too much about where I was before, because it's no point, I feel so far it's the best thing that's I could have done. What about yourself? How's life with you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think anything has changed at all, really. One day I'm going to come on here and just have like all these stories, and my whole life's going to be different. But no, just plodding along. Just trying to.
Well, you changed shifts now, which is early starts.
Yeah, I'm doing earlies at the moment at work, so it's kind of a bit of a change of routine, trying to sort my sleeping habits out a little bit. But outside of that, not a lot.
I mean, we touched on it the other day when we were out, but so you start at 4 and you're at the gym at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I just can't get my head around that. Like I mean, I'm just not the sort of person, as you can tell, I don't really go to the gym. But even then, like getting up at 3 o'clock to go to or being at the gym at 3 o'clock, how do you find it? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've actually quite enjoy it. I think it's really good as well, because it's kind of just cementing that habit. It's like, it might seem a bit, and to be honest, most of it's sort of motivated by my social anxiety, because I'm like, when they first said about me doing early shifts at work, obviously I was thinking about all the stuff I can do outside after work, like taking my dad on appointments easy and stuff. But there's also a little bit that thought, I can go to the gym and there shouldn't be many people there. So because I know, again, we spoke about this before, like when you go to the gym and stuff, it should always be about bettering yourself, and you're trying to do more than you did last time, but you're never in competition with other people. But there's always that element of you that's always someone looking at me, someone judging me, so I was kind of motivated by going when there's less people, but getting up at that time in the morning when I could sort of have a lie-in for 40 minutes and just force myself, even if I don't do a lot, because there's been the odd day, like good examples last time I went, was it yesterday morning? Yeah. I was absolutely knackered. Like, I think it was just because I had a bit of less sleep because we went out food and stuff the night before. But I was really tired. But I thought, even if I do a little bit less, just that getting up and going, I think does wonders. Obviously, it does wonders for your body because you're going gym, but also for your mental health. Like it's just I think it's doing hard things that you don't want to do, I think grows you so much.
I think
so much.
Fair play to you, because like, I know that if my alarm went off at 2:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm that knackered, I'm just going, forget it, and rolling back over. And I think I've touched on it before as well, like, I play football on a Monday night, and there are times when I get back from work and think, I just cannot be bothered. But, once you're there, and once I've done it, I always feel better for it. So there is definitely something behind it. But yeah, fair play, mate. You're better than I am, because there's no way I'd be getting up at...
Thanks, mate.
2 o'clock in the morning.
I don't really do anything when I'm there.
Just sort of mooch about.
I just sit and I go to the vending machine, just sit on the bench and eat it. No, but that's the thing as well. Like, it's something that I've really leaned into this time. So I've been on and off. I think it's been open a year, so I've been going almost a year, but there has been big gaps where I haven't gone. I used to just feel so weak because I was watching everyone else, and I was like, my God, like, there's like really tiny people that I should feel like I should be lifting more than, who are doing like 10 times what I'm doing. But recently I've been really good at just, we've all got different starting points, and I'm just trying to better myself, not obviously every day, but and that, because that's something I've never done throughout my life really. I've always compared myself to other people in every aspect. It's like ages ago I was really obsessed with the idea of like running. I was like, kept thinking to myself, like, I'm just going to be a runner. Do you know what I mean? I'm so terrible at running that if I can overcome that and somehow become a runner, it'll be like absolutely amazing. It'll make my life. So I started to think about, right, in 8 months' time, I'm going to go for a marathon. Now, when I say I'm a bad runner, genuinely, I can't run a mile now, probably even half a mile now without stopping.
I honestly, do you treadmill at the gym?
A little bit. My cardio, I don't do a lot, to be fair. It's something I'm going to work on a bit, but I honestly probably couldn't even run half a mile right now without stopping. So me saying in 8 months' time, it was so stupid. So now I'm starting to, like, my goal now is in that 8 months to do a mile. And to some people, they're like, that's my warm-up. I'll do a mile and then I carry on with another 10. But we've all got different starting points.
Personal goals, mate. And tick it off a little bit at a time, like you said.
That's my problem. I always take big steps.
And you're right. I think we all do it, or even without probably meaning to do it. I think we all compare ourselves to other people all the way through life, growing up. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like from even when you're younger, till they've got better training than I've got. They've got more money than I've got. Then when you go up, why have they moved out? Why have they not moved out? Well, they've got this, they've got that. And you, as much as people say I'm not bothered, everyone does it, mate.
Yeah.
100%. Everyone. Can you stop?
Frankie's just sucking on Dean's finger, if you wonder what that was.
Yeah, everyone.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. Everyone compares themselves, mate. I think that's, again, sort of going to this job, something I've tried, like, sort of not to do, is to get involved in any sort of... I mean, there's not much at the moment I can tell anyway, like office politics or anything else that sort of goes on. Just sort of go in, be myself, do my job, go home, and, again, there's some people who have been there for years, and you look at it and you think, I'll never be able to do, they're just so quick at everything. And I think to myself, it's just, why don't you? Not even any point comparing myself, because it's just different. Yeah. But we all do it, mate. I still do it now. I look at, some of the cars that some of people drive and think, oh God, why have they got a nice car like that? Or, oh God, they earn so much money, right? And you just be content with what you've got, and that's what I've tried to do more so recently. Is look at what you have got, not what you haven't. So yeah, and appreciating the smaller things in life like this one. Yeah. But how have you been? So it's been 4, maybe 5 weeks since we met up. Maybe it's longer than that. Maybe
really long. We're like, we'll go from 1 week to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
One a month.
How have you been, like, mentally? Are you in a good place? Are you in a...
Yeah, I think it's again. There's been a lot going on recently, so I think there's been elements of stress. But on the whole, Yeah, quite good actually.
Yeah.
Again, I think some of the little things we talked about earlier, touching on like, looking after your physical health, and even though it's hard because I'm now getting up at 2:30 in the morning and going to bed at 6, trying to sort out your sleep a little bit has really helped when things get stressful. Helps you build a bit of resilience to stress, I think. So, and I've just been it's kind of touching on what you were on about earlier about the office politics and stuff, but like at work, I'm really trying to not feed into negativity, not in a rude way. Like, if someone comes up and talks to me and wants to moan, like I'll listen to them, but I'm trying not to, because half the time I'd agree with someone and start bitching about someone. I wouldn't actually agree with them, but I would want to relate to that person. So I'd find myself almost slagging people off that I don't know or don't actually think there's anything wrong with them, just because I wanted to fit in and not out, And I just realised recently I need to try and cut that down. I need to try and just have a barrier where, I'm not going to be rude if someone says, "Oh, can you believe it?" I'm not going to be like, "Stop talking to me," but just, I don't have to put my 2 pence in. I don't have to agree. I can say, "I understand where you're coming from. I don't agree." So I'm really trying to, as cliche as it sounds, but block some of the negativity from other people at the moment. Same as, and in some ways I've done it in some really drastic ways in the last, I don't know, 5, like since Christmas really, where there's certain people I used to talk to quite regularly and hang out with, and obviously I'm not naming names, I'm not trying to bash them as people because I actually think they're nice people and stuff, but that were taking more away from me than, and not purposely again, but taking more away from me than they were adding to my life.
Is this why we're only doing the podcast like 5
exactly.
weeks? Are you trying to subtly tell me that I'm one of these people?
It's really hard for me to tell you this, but this will be the last episode. But no, and that sounds so horrible because I know for a fact they don't do it on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's just the way some people talk or the way they've been brought up so different to mine that they were bringing maybe a bit more negativity in my life than I'd like. Mm-hmm. So, and again, it's nothing they're doing wrong, and then 100% not doing it on purpose, and I actually think they are really nice people, but some people just don't get on. And I think I've always been too scared of that. If it's someone that I've known for 15 years, I feel like such a dick to be like, I'm going to cut you out of my life, and not forever. It's just like at the moment while I'm trying to get to a certain place in my head, it's like I don't want that. Do you know what I mean?
Negativity as well, like breeds of negativity, I think, as well, don't it? Like, I've had it before, and I think there was part of me that was probably a little bit like it towards the end of my last place, where I was really negative. I think I just got to the stage where I was really unhappy, and I think it breeds off each other, and then it affects everything, doesn't it? And I was going to work and in a bad mood, and then people were coming in and you were moaning just about even realising you're doing it, like moaning about everything, and then they'd leave and I think, God, they must think I'm a right miserable git because they've come here for 20 minutes and all I've done is moan, and I'm not, I don't want to be that guy.
I think you're 100% right, and I think sometimes, bless you, I think sometimes as well, like, like if I had a choice of going into conversation, I would want it to be, it can be deep, it can be thoughtful, but I'd want it to, not be looking at the negatives necessarily, unless it's in a reflective way like we're doing this podcast. It's a little bit different, but like, so I'm the same as you. Like, it never felt right when I walked in somewhere. People, I'd be being negative. There'd be this bit in the back of my head where I'm like, this is it's almost like a condition. It's like a habit. It's like I'm around these people and I'm just spewing stuff out my mouth, where there's this other little bit in my brain saying, you don't mean any of this. You're just trying to relate to them. And negativity breeds negativity. I believe that. I don't, I try not to look at life as all, perfect and utopian and, if you think positively, positive things are going to happen. But, I think there is a level to the manifestation of that, because, you sort of, wherever you plant your seed, it's where it's going to grow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I've tried to do, again, probably since sort of having Frankie, is just, again, I think I said it, but like just being happy with what you've got. Like, you could always earn more money, you could always do more, you could always see more people, but sometimes you've got to take a step back and go, do you know what? It could be a lot worse. It could be. I mean, I won't mention their name, but I had a friend who has recently had a baby, and then 2 weeks after he got made redundant, and they've now got a job and that. But I just thought that's just another sort of pressure. Do you know what I mean? And they just took it all in their stride, and I just think, how? I'd be having like I'd be having a mental breakdown like with that sort of stress, and they just took it all in their stride. And again, I think it's a mindset, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, they probably, maybe they looked at the whole thing of like, well, I've got this beautiful family now, like job, even though you need a job, and obviously it will cause struggles with the family, like, you know, if you fully believe you're going to get another one and just look at it as another hurdle you get to get over, where, like I say, I'm the same as you, I'd crumble with that.
I am very much, again, like routine. I need to know almost that I get paid on this day, and it's going to be this month, this much, and there are some people who just, I always look at people like self-employed and think, again, I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
because
you don't know how much.
The not knowing is just, to me, it's just madness. But on the whole, you're doing well. You'd say you're in a positive, positive mindset.
Yeah, it changes day to day.
Yeah.
It can be a bit fickle like that. Like if I have like 2 hours less sleep, I can be really miserable. And
sleep is a massive part, isn't it? It really is. Yeah,
I bet you found that out recently.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad, but you during the week, especially when I was starting or leaving here at like 6 o'clock in the morning, if it was really bad, like I'd just go in the spare room. Whereas now, because I don't leave here till sort of 8, I'm sort of I don't bother as much. But sleep is a massive part. Like I know, like if I have a good night's sleep, I'm in a better mood. If I'm not really a morning person, sort of anyway. It takes me an hour or so to wake up and get with it. But yeah, on the whole, it's not too bad, is it? Not too bad. So what's your plan? Have you got any more plans, obviously, to go travelling? Is it something you're thinking about?
It is quite funny, yeah.
The last time we spoke on here, you were like, you sort of wish you'd gone for maybe longer, and then you maybe set yourself an unrealistic sort of, I suppose, expectation, because you said you're going to come back and do this new, or you thought you were going to come back this new person, and you've got a month. I mean, is it a plan to go again, to go longer? Is it?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this the other day, because when I first come back, I was like, right, that's it for a while, like I'm done and that, but I've been getting that itch like everyone does to kind of get away again and maybe do a little bit of that. But I think it's just like, I just like new environments, I think, a little bit, and I think part of that is the fear thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like... Yeah. And it's different in social settings, but even in social settings, I feel like it's kind of what we were talking about earlier about growth in difficult things. But I feel like every time I do something that I'm really nervous about, even if it is like, you know, going to a place with people I don't know, or, you know, going to a new restaurant, like silly as it sounds, but like to me, they can be like, in my head, they can be humongous deals. Like, do you know what I mean? So like going to a party where I don't know people could, you know, be quite a big thing. And I think travel is a little bit like that with me. There's a part of me now that wants to take that next step of, instead of going Europe or somewhere where it's, you know, maybe just going somewhere a bit more exotic and scary. Yeah, and just sort of challenge myself that way, I think.
I think, to me that, it baffles me as well, because like you said about like you get nervous, like if you went to like a restaurant, and if you went somewhere that you didn't know, like even like parking, and then you'll go travelling. Like to me, that just, I can't get my head around that. Like if you said to me like, oh, the thought of travelling like I'm wearing scares me, like I'd get it. But you just
it's quite odd, isn't it? It's quite odd that like things that most people it wouldn't bother them bothers me massively, but things like that kind of don't. Because I mean, there was obviously an element of nerves and an element of like not being sure what was going to happen, but on the whole I don't feel I was like massively nervous. And when I arrived in the first place and I was like, right, well, I've done one of the hardest parts of the journey, it was kind of just all easy for me.
How did you, because we spoke about you going travelling, but was there like, did you, like when you got to the airport and you were there, was there a bit of a oh shit, like this is happening? Or was it when you first left where you were working at the time? It was Asda, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you clocked out, was it like, oh my god, I'm doing this, or was there a build up to it? I mean, how did it?
No, I think when I left Asda, it was like I was just thinking about like getting new jobs automatically. Do you know what I mean? I never really thought about it up until the point where I was actually leaving, and so I got the Eurostar. So I think it kind of sunk in when I was standing in Wellingborough train station, and I was just kind of like, there's no real going back now. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to seem like a bit of an idiot if I
it's a bit like going to Australia for a year and come back after 5 weeks, isn't it? I mean, who'd do that?
But I would say that what he did is way scary.
Oh no, yeah, fair play to him.
Not only that, but he went to China to get another plane to Australia.
Yeah.
Like that's way.
And
scary.
We won't obviously name them, but people listen to this. Some people know who that is.
Yeah.
And I love him for the fact that he is the last person that I think would ever do it. Because if you know him, he's just just doesn't come across as that person, which again baffles.
But it's good, and to me, it's like it's just a new adventure. It's like it's no, it's the same as what you're doing going into a new job. Really, it's like been so used to something for so long, and it's like a new adventure, and there's an element of excitement and nerves to it.
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of that. I mean, I think the process seemed to take forever. I mean, I sort of went for initial talks with the company I'm now at in like October last year, and they were going through a really busy period, and then Frankie was born, and it just sort of all got sort of put on the back burner. And then you get to a stage where you think, is this ever going to happen? Is it going to? And then obviously did. And when I handed my notice in, there was a relief, but then there was also a bit where you're like, oh my god! And it wasn't even when I worked my notice, the 4 weeks went so quickly. I'm just tripping in the background. Yeah, the 4 weeks went so quickly, and it wasn't until I gave all my stuff back on my final day, and then there's a pub across the road, and went and sort of waited for Joe to pick me up. I had to give my van back and sat and had a drink. And although the last year, 18 months had been real tough there and I'd been really miserable, I think there was still a little bit of me that was like sad, which is just bonkers because I was so miserable. But there was still a little part of me that was like, I'm sad to leave. And I think I'd been there for so long, it was a big part of my life, and I'd made some really good friends. And I didn't think I'd ever have that feeling. And then I'd say the first day on this new job, sort of over the weekend, the night before, just couldn't get sleep. I almost said to Joe, it's like first day of when you start a new school, when you go to secondary school. Yeah. I wake up in the morning, I'd ironed all my shirts the night before and all the rest of it. And
got your cereal and your little lunchbox.
And I did have my little lunchbox with me and all my pen in my top pocket. And it was like, wow, this has been mad, because it's the first time I've got into a job where I don't know anyone. When I worked at Asda, I knew people who worked there before I started there. Left Asda, went to work with my mate, knew him. Went to then work at the company I just left. I knew people there. So it's the first time I've gone into a job and I walked in and I'm like, I don't know anyone. So it was really just...
Scares me just thinking about it. I think you've done well, because I said to you the other night, are you, finding it okay? Are you anxious about it? And you seem to be coping semi quite well.
Yeah, really. I'm just trying to just keep my head down, do my job. I think I can't help myself, but when I'm at work, just want to mess around a little bit as well. And I thought, I've only been here 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I don't want to start.
Probably waiting for at least.
Well, you say that. The lad I was sitting next to is a AFC Wimbledon fan, and the company I work for was sponsored by, or used to sponsor MK Dons. So they've got loads of MK Dons merchandise, and I made him a coffee every day in an MK Dons cup, and got some colourful language directed back towards me.
Well, that's good.
And then yesterday there's a guy who sat opposite me, and again I've been here 2 weeks, and they must think, what's he doing? I was like, I lowered his seat so it was really low down, and like sellotaped his mouse to his keyboard. Just thought, I just can't help myself. I think.
Nah, but you got to be yourself, and
yeah, and I think that
might get you fired.
Yeah,
but you got to be
I'm
yourself.
in probation. I could be coming back and working at Asda or going back to my old job again. But yeah, the initial part of it was quite scary. But I think I'm quite lucky because, again, it's not sort of a dig at you, but I talk to sort of anyone that doesn't really bother me. I know that's sort of when you said start on your new job, that wasn't so much the problem, but was it?
It definitely didn't help. So I was the same as you, like I knew nobody there. Like there's a couple of people there who like partners of people I know and stuff, but I didn't know them at all. So like I was going into it without knowing anyone, and I think I struggle. I think that is my, like, sounds so silly, but like almost one of my biggest fears is like that kind of change, like changing jobs and stuff. And I think I just don't, when I start a new job, I don't believe in myself. And like I said before, like I do believe that last one was a bit different, but there's been situations in my past before where I've like gone to a job for like a few months and left. Do you know what I mean? Like I did it once before, I went back to Asda before. And I think a little bit of that with that job specifically, the first one was just a lack of believing in myself. I think I got really stressed a few times and was just like, this isn't for me, when really it's like just push through that stress a little bit. Like I say, I think it's different with the most recent one. I do think that was totally not my cup of tea, but I think sometimes you have to try to know what you want. Like I know now what kind of things I need in a job. Yeah. So when the time comes and I'm ready for a change again, it's going to be, don't just go into the first job. Like, sure and try and understand a bit about the company as well. So I think that was my mistake. Like everything sounded so good on the paper, and again, I actually think the company was amazing and the people are amazing. But like actually, in the interview, maybe use that time to ask a bit more about what the work involved, and then if they turn around and say, "Oh, let's do it," like if they had turned around and laid out 100% what I'd have been doing this job, I think I even would have been a bit like,
maybe
not my car and a cup of tea. Really.
But again, it's going into the unknown, isn't it? I mean. And it's comfort zones, you know. There was part of me that, you know, despite how miserable I was where I was, you know, when I was offered this role, was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Because it's almost, let's say, going out your comfort zone. And again, I'm a creature of habit, mate. I drive the same way to work, stop at the same petrol station to get petrol, stop at. Do you know what I mean? Like drinking the same pub, and so it takes have wings at the same place. Do you know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot for me to step out of that.
Yeah.
So far it's going well. But we'll see. Time will tell, won't it? Time will tell. Hopefully,
yeah. You look a little bit happier at the moment with it, which is good.
Yeah. I think it will. The more the responsibility comes, I think at the moment it's almost like a honeymoon period, isn't it? Where you're learning everything and it's all fresh and it's all exciting. I think I'm at a stage now where, again, to go back to where I was, where I just went in and done my job. A bit like yourself, like didn't need telling what to do, you just do it. And I'm now at this stage now in this new company where I don't know what I'm doing, and I hate that. Because there's a bit like, and again, it's a really quiet office. Like when it's quiet, it's really quiet, and I can feel myself, and I'm like, I need to ask, to do something, and you're waiting for the phone to ring or someone to start talking and that. So I think once I'm in and I'm settled, I just want to be able to go in and just do my job and get on with it. But I had it yesterday where like I'd done what they needed me to do. And I sat there and I was like, I need to get something else, but it's so quiet in here. Then the phone rang and then someone started talking, so then I took the opportunity to go and find someone like now what? But yeah, on the whole, mate. I
think like going back to what you were saying about the hot asking for help can be such a, for people, especially like anxious people, can be such a big step to try and overcome. But I was thinking, I think I might have heard this, it might not be my own ideas, but there was I've just got this thing in my head where like I was thinking about it. You should really just approach it as just like you would if you were like at school. That's the way I was thinking of it. Like, ask questions. Like, look at it as a bit of like, oh, I'm just, I'm in this new job, I'm in this office environment, like, are they going to sack me for asking questions? Probably not. Like, let's just try and find out as much as I can and just ask questions, even if you seem a bit stupid. Because I'm always the same, especially with like authoritative figures. I was actually thinking about this at work yesterday, because basically there was something that needed moving and I had no idea where it was going. And now the old me would have I say the old me, I haven't changed that much, but me in the past would have done one of two things: left it and just been like, fuck this, and ran off. Grabbed it and took it somewhere, probably put it in the wrong place type thing. But I was standing there and one of the big managers there, and I just thought, just fucking ask. Like, what a stupid anxiety to have when I'm too scared. Just go, excuse me, like, am I taking this pallet down here or up here? Like, what a stupid... And I just did it. And he told me, and I thought, that is... I think I need to work on that. And I do believe that it's something that you can sort of, like a muscle, you can kind of work it a bit. Do you know what I mean? So I'm starting to try to put myself in a little bit more uncomfortable positions in that sort of sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what? You don't actually need to ask the big boss a question, but when he comes in on the break room and you're eating lunch, just fucking ask him something, even if it's something really stupid. Just ask him a question, because it's building that, like, instead of just being like, I'm not going to ask this question. It's like the phone call thing. Like, again, we've got a certain friend, and I'm very much the same as well. So I'm laughing, but it's only because I know he knows we're talking about him, even though we're not saying. But hates phone calls. Again, I'm a bit the same. Like, if I had a choice, I'd much rather text people. But with that, like, I believe you can train that. Like, so what I try to do now is, in situations where I'd, I want to book this table, please tell me they've got an online booking form. I'm thinking, well, even if they've got an online booking form, I'm just going to fucking ring, because it's like, and it's, again, there's going to be people listening to this going, my God, how sad is that? Like, he has to train his brain to, like, make, but it's just that overcoming the anxiety thing. And I think once you do it enough times, you can build that. Do you know what I mean? It's like confidence.
It's funny you say about, like, answering the phone. Like, obviously where I am now, we have, like, phones on each desk, and if you get an external call, it rings every phone. But at the moment, for whatever reason, me and the guy next to me, our phones don't ring. And I'm really grateful for that, because, again, answering, like, I don't mind having a phone call, answering the phone, whatever else. But because it's such a quiet environment, the idea of, like, answering the phone and, like, everyone can hear you, and everyone's going to wait for the first time that the phone does ring, and answer it, and you just think... And they will come around every day thinking, oh, we're gonna fix them. Like, your phones will start ringing soon. And I'm thinking, oh, they didn't. Like,
it's funny you say that. I had that exact scenario at that place I went to just before I went back to Asda. It was all web chat and emails mostly, which again, like, part of me didn't like, but also it's a little bit comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like, web chat, yeah, sure, I don't know this person, it's fine. Yeah. But there was one time where I was speaking to the manager because I needed a bit of information. She was like, yeah, just call them. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, just call. And I was like, shit. They're like, here's the number. I was like, okay. So I picked up the phone and rang through, and then it was like, right, have you got this number? And I'm like, I haven't. Like, I was so big. It was like literally my whole world just come crashing down. But again, it's that stupid thing of, like, just ask. And I don't think I did. I think I actually did the looking through all the sheets of paper, like, where's this number they want. I literally could have asked the team leader next to me. I could have asked the person on the phone, like, sorry, I'm being a bit thick, where's this number? But instead...
I'm quite lucky. We had a meeting yesterday, and afterwards I'd written some stuff down, and I actually went through and said to one of the managers, a couple of questions, because we were talking about stuff in this meeting that I've got no idea about. I said, it might be a stupid question, and he actually said to me, there's no such thing as a stupid question, which was a relief as well. And then he explained it all to me, like, this is what this is, this is what this is, and blah, blah, blah. And then when I left, he goes... And he actually said, don't ever be afraid to ask questions. And that's a massive relief as well, because then I don't know, in 6 months' time, I'm still asking the same questions. They might be a little bit frustrating. But you don't feel like a dread of, oh, God, they're going to think I'm a right idiot. So yeah, it's... it's ask questions, and it's not just in work, it's just in anything. Like, I think, obviously it's a lot easier now because you can just Google shit. And I do get the importance of that. Like, I'll do it all. Like, I Google stuff all the time. Like, all the time. Somebody might just say, like, oh, I wonder if this place is, further south
from the equator than this place. And instead of me just being like, well, I don't really care, I'll be like, well, I want to know that now. Like, I like to soak up information and Google pretty much everything. I've probably, if you looked at my Google search history,
I don't think I want it.
But there's no lived experience in that sometimes as well. Do you know what I mean? So you can Google, how did this CEO, build this amazing multi-million pound company and stuff. But I think there's not too much weight to just reading the words, where if you actually had somebody who knows got a successful company, somebody, I don't know, a painter who's got his own business, if you wanted to get into that world, just as a random example, if you ask him, there's some lived experience in that. It's not just written down, and he can share, and you can, even the body language thing, like, so I think, that's what I'm trying to do a little bit now, is just be a bit of a sponge and just ask questions and not believe that I know the answers. Because again, I think that's going back to that thing I was on about earlier on that phone call, where I was just trying to fit. I was like, I can find the answer to this question. I don't need help. Like, I think I have a level of subconscious arrogance that I know more than every single person about everything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but I genuinely believe that. And I'm not saying this is like a critical thing about myself, but like, even though I've only just been properly really getting into the gym and stuff, like, there's a little bit of me that's like, well, I ain't going to ask somebody at the gym how to use this machine. Maybe I'll YouTube some videos, but I'll figure it out myself. I'm a smart man, I can figure this out, instead of just being like, excuse me, mate, like, how do I move this seat?
This vending machine might take my coins.
yeah. But no, it's just like, I just think sometimes there's a great utility in just asking questions.
Be a sponge. And again, I keep going back to it, but I think because it's new, it's a good example. Like, even with this new job, just trying to ask questions all the time. Like you said, be a sponge. Listen to. I mean, I've been on a couple of Teams calls this week. One of them was like an hour, and I literally said hello and goodbye, because they're talking and I've got absolutely no idea. But just listen, write stuff down. One thing I've got to do now is, and I can't be the only person that does it, is I will write a quick note to myself, and I'll look back at that note later on and we'll go, I don't know what that's meant to say. And I've done that the last couple of weeks so much, where I've written something down and I've gone, at the time that must have made sense, because I've written it down, but I have got no idea.
I'll do that in my calendar. I'll have stuff in my calendar. It'll say, like, I don't know, for instance, it'll just say, like, move this out of the bedroom, move tea out of the bedroom and put downstairs. And I'm like, what the fuck is tea? Is it a t-shirt? Why have I got to move that t-shirt? Like, I do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. It's I think we all do it, don't we, to a point, and I think we spoke about it obviously quite a lot this episode, about like routine and comfort zones, and you going travelling and going out of your comfort zone is a massive thing. Me starting this new job, not knowing anyone, for me is a massive thing, and trying to be myself and not be someone that I'm not as well, is what I'm, because part of me, again, I suppose a bit like what you said, it's almost an arrogance thing. I've done the old job for so long, it was a routine. I've gone to this job now, and I think it almost does hurt my ego a little bit, like having to apparently ask questions like, what's this, what's that, and that's a weird feeling. And I think it's not an ego, but again, I think it is a bit of an ego thing, because you want to be shown once and just know it, and it's just not that simple. And then you put pressure on yourself and you're second guessing yourself. Like they gave me something to do yesterday. I've done it sort of every day since I've been there, but you spend 20 minutes double checking or not doing it and just staring at the screen. And I'd done that yesterday, where I just stared at the screen for like 10 minutes, and I was like, he'd already explained it. I've written it down as he was explaining it to me, and it's still making no sense. And again, that's an arrogance thing, because you're not expected to just. They don't expect you to just pick it up, but I expect myself just to. You've been shown once, just know.
And it's like a bit of you kind of don't want to fail and let yourself down, and it's like, which is so stupid, because you'd learn more from fucking something up than 100%. I believe that, like, even in that, like you say, in the work environment, like, the amount of times that I've done something wrong, but then that's it, I've never forgot that then, because I made a mistake, where if I'd have kind of like done a half-assed job, then maybe it wouldn't have cemented in my brain so much. And that's, I think, that's something I've always really struggled with. It's just not wanting to feel like a failure in everything I do. Like, and it's so stupid because the most successful people in the world, even though they might not show it and you might not see it, like these people were like, again, we're going back to like billion-dollar companies, stuff like, guarantee most of them like made so many mistakes and lost so much money before they stumbled upon
what they're doing now.
What they're doing.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I think we all do it, don't we? Especially, I think more so again as blokes, put too much pressure on ourselves to just be perfect, and it's not possible, is it, mate?
No. And again, this is kind of related, but not. But I spoke the other day with someone at work about like. And I've got a lot better about it, but like always wanting to be liked and have people feel like I couldn't do anything wrong. Like it was such a big thing. Like, I think we were discussing someone else, and then it kind of made me realise that I'm very much that way. Like I used to be so scared of people not liking me. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing is as well, is it was usually people I didn't really care about. So like, if I'd pissed off someone that was close to me, I'd be like, well, they'll get over it. But if it was like a stranger, somebody I wanted to impress, it was like, my God, this is like my whole world has come crashing down. And I'm really trying to learn that that's so futile. Like, you never...
I mean, you sent me that thing the other day on Instagram, what did make me laugh. And you said it made me think of you. And it was... if I don't reply to people, it's because I'm busy. If they don't reply to me, it's because they hate me. Yeah. And they're just, do you know what, you're 100%. And when you sent it, I did actually go, bastard. But like 100%. Again, it's mad how you know, I do it. Like I will look at it and go, I'll reply to someone, like, I'm doing whatever, and then you don't, and then you forget, and you reply like 3 hours later, and then in my head I'm thinking, if it was the other way around, like I'd be having like just a meltdown about it all. But there we go.
Sorry, mate. I just
no, it was bang on. It was bang on. Like
we've got to the point where not only are we now discussing our
we're taking the piss out of
insecurities, we're taking the piss out of each other. I'm joking, it's all love. And it just shows you, the thing is as well, like obviously I sent that with the intention of showing you like you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like everybody does that. I mean I did to an extent. Like,
yeah. It did make me laugh. I think that's probably a good place to end, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I know it's been a bit disjointed this one, but with our special guest.
We'll make up for it because we're going to record 32 episodes next week.
Yeah,
just so we're covered for the next 5 years.
No, we will obviously try and get some more consistency. I think it's obviously been made even harder now with your new hours and my new job. It's sort of, it's made it even more difficult now.
It's going to be a little bit of teething issues. But we'll get there.
Start doing over teams or something.
Yeah. That'd be a good idea. Actually, we could do that. But anyway, that's to discuss afterwards. So good to see you again. Goodbye.